Welcome to the JCI USA Candidate Caucus. My name is Vanessa Birchler. I'm proudly serving as your 104th president of JCI USA. We're thrilled to have you join us tonight as we embark on this exciting journey to learn more about the individuals who will shape the future of our organization. Our One Year to Lead concept empowers each leader to make a significant impact during just 1 year through fostering innovation, leadership, and collaboration within JCI USA. Tonight, enjoy the meaningful discussions, shared insights, and how each of these candidates will work towards empowering our members and communities. Thank you to the candidates for stepping up to run for these positions. And thank you to all of you for being a part of the elections process and your dedication to JCI USA. I look forward to seeing you all in Cleveland in just a couple of weeks where we will gather to elect our next leaders. I'm honored to announce our moderator for this evening, our immediate past president and 103rd national president, Nate Martin. Aloha, Nate.
Aloha, everyone. All right. Mahalo. Thank you so much, NP Vanessa, for our welcome message. And aloha, JCI USA. My name is Nate Martin again, and I have the honor of serving as your immediate past national president this year. I am also honored to be your moderator for tonight's virtual candidate caucus. According to the Elections Committee, JCI USA has certified 5 candidates for National Vice President, 2 candidates for Deputy National President, and 1 candidate for National President. Tonight, you will be able to meet each candidate. We will start with the National Vice President candidates. Each candidate will have a maximum of 2 minutes to introduce themselves and be asked a question after the introduction. The candidate will have a maximum of 2 minutes to provide a response. Once the candidate has completed their response, we'll move on to the next candidate. The candidate order was randomly selected prior to the start of the virtual candidate caucus. Once all National Vice President candidates have completed their introduction and first question, we'll move on to the Deputy National President candidates. As with the National Vice President candidates, each candidate will have a maximum of 2 minutes to introduce themselves and be asked a question after the introduction. The candidate will have a maximum of 2 minutes to provide a response. Once the candidate has completed the response, we'll move on to the next candidate. The candidate order was also randomly selected prior to the start of the virtual candidate caucus. Once all Deputy National President candidates have completed their introduction and first question, we'll move on to the National President candidate. Again, the candidate will have a maximum of 2 minutes to introduce themselves and be asked a question after the introduction. The candidate will have a maximum of 2 minutes to provide a response. Once the candidate has completed the response, that will complete the first round of questions. We'll then proceed with the second round of questions in the exact same order as the first question. We thank JCI USA Legal Counsel Cassie for being our timekeeper for tonight, and the JCI USA Elections Committee who will be asking the questions to the candidates. We also want to thank JCI USA National Vice President Marley for being the woman behind the scenes, making all this technology possible. All right, JCI USA, are we ready for tonight's virtual candidate caucus? If you are, let's get started. JCI USA, your first national vice president candidate is JP Ong. National vice president candidate, you have 2 minutes for your introduction.
Good evening, everyone. I am Jubert Polong. It's truly an honor to be here tonight, surrounded by a community that feels like family. When I joined JCI Philippine New York in 2018, my goal was simple: to make a difference. Since then, I have had the privilege of serving in different roles, from director to VP positions both in local and state. And in 2023, I became the 60th Diamond President of our chapter, the first LGBTQ president in our history. Now, as the 95th State President of New York, I continue to serve with the same passion. Beyond these roles, I've been fortunate to lead projects that have made meaningful impacts to our members and communities, like Elevating Your Potential, Blood Drive Donation, and the launch of International Human Duties Day with a series of activities. These experiences have deepened my belief in the power of collaboration and community. Today, I'm excited to be a candidate of JCI USA National Vice President for 2025. My campaign theme is Unity in Diversity and Leading with Inclusion. It reflects both my journey and my vision for JCI USA. By embracing diversity and leading with inclusive practices, we can build a stronger and more united organization. I propose three key initiatives: embracing diverse leadership through mentorship, fostering inclusive community engagement through events that bring people together, and launch a sustainable development initiative to improve and promote environmental sustainability. Together, we can create a future where every voice matters and every leader succeed. Thank you, and let's make this vision a reality.
Awesome. Thank you so much, MVP candidate. Let's see. So now, for the purposes of the first question, I will call upon the elections committee.
Hello. I have your first question, JP. If you had $100,000 to spend on anything to improve the organization, what would you spend it on?
Thank you. If I had 100,000 to improve the organization, I would focus on three key areas: member development and scholarship opportunities, and communication infrastructure. First, I'd invest in targeted training and mentorship program, such as Diverse Voices Mentorship Program. This would ensure that every member, regardless of their background, have access to support and guidance that they need to succeed. Second, I'll allocate funds for scholarship program to sponsor members to attend national convention, conference, and World Congress. My own experience at the National Convention this year and the World Congress in 2023 have deepened my commitment to the organization, and I want other members to have the same opportunity and experience. Finally, I would allocate it on our communicate to upgrade our communication platform. This would give members access directly to the tools and facilitate direct communication, address better member needs and concerns. This investment would allow our organization to be more stronger and empowering our members and enhancing our connections. Thank you.
Mahalo, National Vice President candidate JP. We'll see you back in just a little bit. All right, JCI USA, your second National Vice President candidate is Ali Sears. National Vice President candidate, you have 2 minutes for your introduction.
Thank you. Good evening, JCI USA. I am Allie Sears, and I am running for National Vice President. My JC career began in 2019. Since then, I've served in several local and state positions. In 2021 and 2022, I was the Spartanburg JC's chapter president. During my second term in 2022, I was nominated as chairman of local presidents for South Carolina. This led me to starting to work with the state organization and learning more about that. I followed that with a membership vice president role, and this year I have been currently sitting as the South Carolina state president, which has brought me so many opportunities and just I have loved every second of it. So I have decided through this that I'm running for national vice president because I want to encourage every member that I can. I believe in the JC movement, and I think we should be shouting it from the mountaintops. Leadership comes in all shapes and sizes. If we take the time to actually dig in, motivate, encourage, and make sure that every member is aware of the opportunities that are at their fingertips, I truly think that we can stand tall, stand out, and we can make the biggest positive change yet. Thank you, and I cannot wait to see everyone in person in Ohio.
Mahalo, a nice National Vice President candidate, for the introduction. For the purposes of your first question, I call upon the Elections Committee.
Good evening, Allie. Your first question for tonight is going to be, what would you continue to do that JCI USA is doing now?
Hey, thank you for that question. I think that that's a great topic. I think that that's something that we have all kind of ran through our heads with several times throughout this organization, whether we're on the national level, state level, or local level. I do think that something that JCI USA has really shown me this year, from my perspective, is that they have taken the strategic plan, hit the ground running, they're communicating on it. And my favorite thing about it is I have seen where they have actually tracked goals and they are sharing their progress. And I think that although some of us get a little antsy at times, it's so exciting to see the things that are coming and that the action is happening. And that's impressed me beyond all means. And I think we should keep it up.
Awesome. Mahalo, National Vice President candidate Ali. We will see you back in just a bit.
Perfect.
All right, JCI USA, your third National Vice President candidate is Chris Thompson.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So just to give you an update, I joined the JCs in 2018. I was blessed to join the Virginia Beach JCs. I got into it with open heart, open mind. Then I moved in quickly into leadership. In 2019, I served as VP of membership for the chapter. And then in 2020, I served as a VP of community development. Moving into that, I took a year off just to, as JCs, our cup gets full. And sometimes you just need to take a break, a brain break, in order to keep moving forward. And then in 2022, I rejoined my chapter's board in renewed vigor to become elected as the chapter president. I served as chapter president from 2022 to 2023. In 2023, I took on the responsibility of being VP of membership for the Virginia JCs. And then in 2024, I was elected as the 90th state president of the Virginia JCs. My vision this year and my theme is unified vision, innovative action. What that means is I just believe that moving forward, in order to progress, especially being in such an important year, being that this is a strategic planning year, we need to unite together in order to accomplish whatever it is we need to get done. I've been a team guy my whole life. I played sports, play team sports. And I always believe that we can't do anything unless we do it together, unless we're all moving in the same direction. As far as my innovative action, I believe that in order to move forward into a changing world, we need to constantly innovate and think differently. We can't do it the way it's always been done. Otherwise, we're going to get the same result. So moving forward, I believe that we need to move together and that we need to innovate and we need to think outside the box in order to get this organization into the next generation. And I appreciate all your help. Thank you.
Thank you, National Vice President candidate, for the introduction. For the purposes of your first question, I call upon the Elections Committee.
Hi, Chris. This evening, your first question is, what do you want to see JCI USA do differently?
Well, thank you for that question. I believe that in order to move forward into the future, there's things that we have to do as far as increasing the amount of assets and allocation that we put towards communication, being able to communicate with our JC brethren across the world. It's important. Sharing ideas is important, and diversity, equity, and inclusion is important. I'd love to see us, get into more twinning, just especially as an organization, that being a bigger thing. I'm trying to grow that in my state as well. I'd also like to see us hold each other accountable. And what I mean by that is not, just saying, hey, show up to convention or hey, do this. But really, in order to grow this organization, in order to look into the past and see the successes that we had in the past, we need to hold each other accountable. What that means is, if we see something we don't like or we see something that, we need to do differently, call it out. Don't be afraid. Be radically candid, as NP Vanessa says. And just being able to tell each other, hey, I think the way we're doing things is not the way it should be. I think that using the bylaws, we need to do it differently, and we can't be afraid of that. And that's, pretty much what I think would be the best thing moving forward next year as far as doing differently.
Awesome. Mahalo, National Vice President candidate Chris. We'll see you back in just a bit. All right, JCI USA, your fourth National Vice President candidate, Daniela Terrell. All right, National Vice President candidate, you have 2 minutes for your introduction.
Hi, everybody. My name is Daniela Terrell. A little nervous, but hey, I just want to let you know a little bit about me. I am a devoted licensed clinical social worker, and I consider myself to be a dynamic community leader who embodies the principles of aspiration and impact through my professional accomplishments, community engagement, and steadfast dedication to make a positive difference. Since joining JCI, the Hattiesburg chapter in December 2021, I've held several roles locally and on a state level that have continued to grow me both personally and professionally, to include individual development director, chapter treasurer, management vice president, and now 2024 state president of Mississippi. However, that's not just it. We're making marks in history as I am the first woman of color to hold this position in Mississippi. My driving passion is to be the change I wish to see, consistently striving to leave a significant mark on my community. My platform, Aspire, captures the essence of a community striving for greatness. It represents a relentless pursuit of goals, ambition, a commitment to serve the community and fellow members, service, maintaining the highest standards of conduct, professionalism, embracing innovation and creativity, innovation, and building spirit to overcome challenges, resilience, and permitting others to reach their fullest potential, empowerment. If elected as National Vice President in 2025, in addition to supporting the national president in continuing the mission of this organization, I will actively support my assigned states and be the voice for those I serve. As we move forward, I remain dedicated to growth and development, working towards the betterment of our community in 2025 and beyond.
Mahalo, National Vice President candidate, for the introduction. For the purposes of your first question, I call upon the Elections Committee.
Hello, Daniela. Your question is, many people see JCI USA as just a volunteer organization. How do we continue to show we are more than that?
Oh, well, we can demonstrate that we are more than a volunteer organization by highlighting the leadership development, professional networking, and personal growth opportunities that the organization offers. By sharing success stories of members who have translated their JCI experiences into career advancement, entrepreneurial ventures, and significant community impact, we can change this perception of being just a volunteer organization. Engaging in strategic partnership with businesses and educational institutions can also underline our role as shaping future leaders.
Mahalo, National Vice President candidate Daniela. We'll see you back in just a bit. All right, JCI USA, your fifth and final National Vice President candidate is Morgan Tedder. National Vice President candidate, you have 2 minutes for your introduction.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time out of your evening to join us on here tonight. Again, I'm Morgan Tedder. I'm currently the 89th president of the North Carolina JCs. I've been in this organization for over a decade now, making me pretty JC old. My JC resume itself is pretty robust because of that. I've served in virtually every position on the local level outside of treasurer. In my state, I've served as a program manager, regional director, vice president, liaison, and on the different committees that we do have. I currently serve on JCI USA's training task force this year, and I'm a 2023 graduate of North American Academy. In my personal life, I'm a hospice social worker. Previously, I was employed as an executive director of a nonprofit where we provided equine-assisted services to those with different abilities. Some of you may have seen my campaign theme is bright and fun and pink. And the idea behind it is let them. And this was born out of trying to navigate this organization as a 21-year-old and as a young leader and no one listening and running into roadblock after roadblock. It's also born out of my professional experience where I've seen many individuals not afforded opportunities that they should be offered for reasons that really were never reasons. I think investing in the member, in the human, and empowering them to succeed is really how we propel forward in this organization. And tonight, I'm excited to sit in the hot seat for just a second.
All right, Mahalo, National Vice President candidate, for the introduction. For your hot seat, for the purposes of your first question, I call upon the Elections Committee.
Okay, Morgan, your first question tonight is going to be, what has been your biggest growth opportunity during your time as a member?
Thank you. I think that the entire point of this organization and everyone's journey within it is to grow and develop as a professional and a human being, using this organization to really get you where you want to go. With that being said, my journey over the last decade has provided me with the chance to truly understand and learn myself, my leadership style, my strengths, and even my shortcomings. You know, there have been times within the organization where I've felt on top of the world. There have been times where I felt beat up, burnout. And at one point, I was navigating this homeless. But all of those challenges helped propel me to who I am and where I'm at today. So ultimately, with all of that said, the most significant growth opportunity I've had within this organization was the first one, just joining. That decision set the stage for everything that's followed.
Awesome. Mahalo, National Vice President candidate Morgan. We'll see you back in just a bit. All right, so thank you to all the National Vice President candidates. We will have them all back, as I mentioned, later on for their second round of questions. Now we move on to our two candidates for Deputy National President. JCI USA, for your first Deputy National President candidate, I call upon Josh Hovland. Deputy National President candidate, you have 2 minutes for your introduction.
Thank you, and thank you to JCI USA, everyone, for tuning in this evening. It's a great pleasure to speak with you all, share a little bit more about my ideas and vision for the office. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Josh Hovland. I am one of the NVPs currently serving JCI USA. I have held positions all up and down this organization, but I started back in 2018 at my local organization in Wilmington, Delaware. Although I come from a small state, they do have a big impact, and I'm proud to take that impact and that experience forward throughout my career in JCI USA. A lot of my time and my experience has been a blend of JCI experience helping my work in professional setting, and then my JCI, my work experience helping my JCI work setting as well. It's a great honor that I have had the fortunate opportunity to move up through this organization and continue to help building an organization that will be a lasting impact. That is truly why I'm running for DNP this year, is because I don't want to see this organization last only 100 years. I want to see this last 200 years. I want to see my grandkids and my grandkids' see this organization have an impact on them personally and on their community themselves. So I hope to share a little bit more of my vision tonight with you all. I appreciate everyone here, and I'll talk a little bit more about how I'm planning to advance leadership and build futures if elected as DNP. Thank you.
Mahalo, Deputy National President candidate, for the introduction. For the purposes of your first question, I call upon the Elections Committee.
Hi, Josh. Your first question this evening is, what are your primary goal or goals if elected, and how has your current role helped prepare you for serving in the role you are running for?
Thank you for the question. So I have 4 main goals going throughout this year. The first and foremost is the implementation of the strategic plan. So this is something that we have laid down a fantastic strategic plan this year. Hopefully it gets approved and passed during the Cleveland Board of Directors meeting. I'm really excited to see some of the items in the plan. It contains a lot of programs that are going to deliver direct value to local organizations, which we need to see more of. Next is supporting and inspire action. Part of my theme of building leadership is all about I'm not going to be the end goal of this organization. I'm not going to be the one that fixes it. I am here to help build a team around me during my current year, as well as building a team for the future so that this organization does last those 200 years, as I spoke about just before. Next is embracing fresh perspectives and innovation. We need to not be so closed-minded when we hear new ideas that might be something out of the box or something crazy we haven't done. While we certainly need to respect the traditions and the culture that has been created and developed in JCI USA, we need to continue that forward as times change as well. A lot of my current role as MVP has really helped shape this. A lot of the decisions and things I've had the opportunity to sit on during the bylaws committee this year has really had us thinking, where's the organization going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? Goes hand in hand with the implementation of the strategic plan. Also, a lot of the work I've done in leading the technology advisory committee this year, we have some really cool, innovative ideas that are coming out at the convention that you'll see in a couple weeks. So I'm hoping we see as many of you in person as well, and we'll see benefit out of some of the cool technology that we're bringing to you to help make your PM updates and additions and submissions for awards a lot easier. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy National President candidate. We'll see you back in just a bit for your second question. JCI USA, your second and final candidate for Deputy National President is Eric Hyatt. Deputy National President candidate, you have 2 minutes for your introduction.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for joining us tonight. My name is Eric Hyatt, and I'm excited to be a candidate for JCI USA Deputy National President. I currently serve as JCI USA's Membership Development Director, and previously last year I served as National Vice President. But I joined the JCs back in 2015, and I still remember walking into that first membership event and feeling immediately connected to the chapter. Their story, their passion inspired me to join. And over the last 9 years, this organization has pushed me to discover my passion. And that's why I'm running for Deputy National President, to allow others to discover their passion within the JCs. You know, over the last 9 years, I've had a variety of different experiences, from immediately being part of a chapter rebuild with the Springfield JCs, my first chapter, to starting my own chapter when I moved to a new city. All these experiences have guided me and have allowed me to really take part in the full JCI experience. You know, over the last year, we have a new member in our chapter. His name is Max. And Max initially was skeptical of being a JC. His boss was our chapter's membership VP. But over the last year, I've seen Max's growth. I've seen how much this organization has impacted him. And I want to help Maxes all around the country, all of our members across the country, have the tools and resources to be successful, helping our chapters reach their goals, and using my experience over the last 9 years to really connect our members to our organization. I look forward to connecting with you over the next couple of weeks before Cleveland. Since announcing running for Deputy National President, I've been to over 10 different states, meeting our members and hearing their story. I encourage you to visit my website, ericwhyatt.com, to learn more about me and some of my goals. And feel free to set up an individual time to connect so I can hear your JC story. Thank you so much.
Mahalo, Deputy National President candidate, for your introduction. For the purposes of your first question, I call upon the Elections Committee.
Hi, Eric. Your first question this evening is, it is December 31st, 2025. What do you hope your achievements are?
So on December 31st, 2025, I hope my achievements are our team's success. So one of the unique things about Deputy National President, still a relatively new position, is really you're charged with supporting our national vice presidents, supporting our state presidents, supporting our program managers, helping them achieve their goals. And so I look forward, if elected, to working with our team and making sure we break down communication barriers that may exist, making sure that we're working together and really putting the best practices in place so that we can be innovative to our members. You know, over the last couple of years, we have a lot of exciting things things that are about to roll out for JCI USA. Last year, serving as National Vice President, we really worked strategically looking about what programs should we continue and what programs should we create. And we're seeing some of that progress this year with the implementation of some of our new programs, like the LMS system that's about to be rolled out. So I hope my goals are working with our national team, making sure that they have the tools and resources to be successful. In addition, I hope to be working directly with our chapters. Our chapters in our states are the most important part of our organization. And so I hope that we are really connecting with them. If our chapters are reaching their goals, if they have the basic tools to be successful, then I think as a team, we've accomplished a lot. You know, I think back to when I worked as a region director in Illinois with one of our smaller chapters. We gave them the momentum to push their potential. We gave them tools and resources to be successful, and that allowed them to grow. They went from 17 members, or about 13 to 15 members 5 years ago, to now having over 37 members. It just takes that extra push. And I hope as Deputy National President, I reach out to those chapters that need that extra push so we can allow them to discover their passion within our organization.
Mahalo, Deputy National President candidate. We'll see you back in just a bit. So thank you to all our Deputy National President candidates, Josh Hoovlin. I got that wrong earlier, and he even told me how to pronounce it right before this, and Eric Hyatt. So we'll be back later for our second round of questions for our Deputy National President candidates as well. All right, JCI USA, now we move on to our candidate for National President. We'd like to introduce you to Bethany Miller. For our National President candidate, you have 2 minutes for your introduction.
Thank you so much, IPP Nate, and thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here with us tonight as we discuss the future of JCI USA. As IPP Nate mentioned, my name is Bethany Miller, and I'm currently serving as your 6th ever Deputy National President, but I hope to take the opportunity in 2025 to serve as your 105th National President. Throughout my time in JCI USA, things have escalated very quickly. I joined the Hattiesburg JCs in September of 2018. From that time, I have served in multiple roles, including local chapter secretary, chapter president, state president of JCI Mississippi, national vice president, leadership development director, and I'm currently serving as your deputy national president. My focus of my campaign is to take the opportunity. Through the opportunities that JCI USA and JCI overall have provided me, I have not only become a better person, a more well-rounded member of my community, but also I've pushed my potential and evolved into the person that I never knew I wanted to be. I have gained so many skills that I never thought I would need, and I've also gotten to see the direct effects of being able to empower not only myself, but those around me to push themselves to reach those next level goals and to take opportunities they never thought that they would take. My theme not only ties in to my goals for the future for 2025 and beyond for JCI USA and myself, but it ties into my hometown. You may have noticed the trains, and I'll explain the trains some more at a later time.
Thank you, National President candidate, for the introduction. For the purposes of your first question, I call upon the Elections Committee.
Good evening. Your first question for tonight is going to be, what makes you a good candidate for the role that you are running for?
Thank you so much for that question. I think that some of the things that make me a great candidate for this role are that I really and truly want to see the big picture for JCI USA. I want us to push ourselves. I have been a huge part of the strategic plan this year and leading the strategic planning committee. And one of the visions for that was to ensure that each of our members felt that they had a place within JCI USA and that the strategic plan was something that they could truly use to take the opportunity to get the most out of meeting our mission and vision as an organization, but also to ensure that those resources were available and that we knew how we were going to continue to meet our mission and vision. Through my time in JCI, I have learned so many things and had so many opportunities to travel around, not only nationally, but also internationally, to meet members, exchange ideas, and truly live out that international collaboration. I have learned so much about myself and about those around me, and how we continue to empower young people to not just do what they've been told to do because that's how they've always been told to do it, but to find ways to empower themselves, to define their own success, and to reach their own goals and dreams. If we would have had this conversation 5 years ago, we never would be having it. I have felt so empowered through my experiences in JCI USA. I want to lead us for the 105th year and continue to build on our foundation to create a solid future for the next 105 years and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, National President Candidate Bethany. We'll see you back in just a bit. All right, JCI USA, we have met your candidates for National Vice President, Deputy National President, and National President, and heard them answer the first round of questions. So wherever you are across the United States, or even if you're joining us outside of the United States, can we just all give them a round of applause for their introductions and their first round of questions? I'm sure they have a lot more to say and give us on this virtual candidate caucus, as well as when we do it all over again in person in Cleveland. So now we'll do is one more round of questions. So our second round of questions, and we're going to go ahead and go in the same order. So JCI USA, we welcome back your first National Vice President candidate, JP Ong. We also welcome back the Elections Committee to ask the second question.
Hi, JP. Your second question is, what would you change about the current JCI USA experience?
Thank you, Rachel, for the question. If there's anything that I would like to change with the JCI USA experience, I would focus on making it more personalized and inclusive. One way to do this is by expanding our membership program to better support members from diverse backgrounds, tailoring membership to individual needs and experiences, making a big difference in how we supported and connected members feel. I'd also improve our digital tools that would enhance communications and engagement, making it easier for members to stay connected and involved. Additionally, implementing more localized, diverse training, which would help that everyone feels included no matter where they are. And last, probably I would increase opportunity for members to share their cultural experiences, which would enrich our community and help build stronger connection. These changes would create more an inclusive, engaging experience, ensuring that every member feels valued, supported throughout their journey with JCI USA. Thank you.
Mahalo, National Vice President candidate JP. We'll see you back later towards the conclusion of tonight's caucus. All right, JCI USA, we welcome back your second National Vice President candidate, Ali Sears. We also welcome back the Elections Committee to ask the second question.
Hey, Ali, your second question for the evening is, how do we add value to the JCI experience?
Okay, well, thank you for that question. In my opinion, I feel that the biggest opportunity to add value to the JCI experience is the ability to make an impact. I was able to be part of the team that worked on Project Narcan for South Carolina last year, and this was truly an opportunity to have our voices heard. And sometimes it's nice to remember that when we see the small scale regularly, there's a large scale too. So if you don't know much about this project, what we had done was we found out that Narcan was not necessarily available in all schools across the country or the state or anywhere. And we knew that this was something that we could have a voice with. So we began to do some research. We went through our state, and there was already a couple bills on the floor, but we helped pass the word on, reached out representatives, and really by the end of it, we feel that we had made an impact on getting this passed. And I'm so excited to say that there is Narcan in every school in South Carolina now. DHEC distributed millions of dollars worth, and if it has the opportunity to save one kid's life, it is absolutely the biggest achievement that I can say that we've had. But I just feel that having this organization on more than just the local level, bringing it up to state, national, and international, we are change makers. We all know that. And it's just the most amazing feeling. And I love that that opportunity is here because we have this JCI experience.
Mahalo, National Vice President candidate Ali. We'll see you back later towards the end when we conclude tonight's virtual candidate caucus. All right, JCI USA, we welcome back your third National Vice President candidate, Chris Thompson. We also welcome back the Elections Committee to ask the second question.
Good evening, Chris. Your second question for tonight is, tell me about a time that you failed and how did you deal with the situation?
So thank you for asking that question. First, I just want to mention that, one of the things with the JCs that's great about our organization is that it's a safe space to fail. I think we oftentimes forget that, and it's important that we remember that in this organization because it happens often and it's okay. One time that I remember failing, so as chapter president of Virginia Beach, I was a big project for us is the East Coast Surfing Championships. It is our biggest flagship event, and there's a lot of moving pieces in it, and there's a lot of investment and stakeholders at play when it comes to the event's success. So in 2022, we had a great event. It generated, over $100,000 in gross revenue, and it wasn't without the success of the chairs, as well as the committees that we had. But moving forward into 2023, we had a bunch of cutbacks, government cutbacks, sponsors, just so many things working against us. And I would believe strongly in us investing money of our own money from the previous year into sanctioning for what is the WSL, which is a World Surf League. I so much so that I advocated to our board that we should do so, but ultimately they decided not to go that route based on what our GM's recommendations were. It was a big hit to me. I felt like it was a failure to me because I didn't, it was the way I wanted to go and I was wrong. But one of the cool things about failing is that you learn something about yourself. And in that moment, I was able to find out that it's okay to fail, and sometimes you got to rely on others to steer you in the right direction.
Thank you, National Vice President candidate Chris. We'll see you back towards the end of the candidate caucus for our final closing remarks after. Right, JCI USA, we welcome back your fourth candidate for National Vice President, Daniela. And we also welcome back our Elections Committee to ask the second question.
Hi, Daniela. Your second question is, are there any initiatives or committees you want to help outside of your typical NVP duties?
Of course. There are several initiatives and committees that I'm interested in. Beyond the National Vice President duties, I am particularly passionate about mental health and mental health awareness, and would love to contribute to any committees and any focuses on the well-being and the resilience of not only our JCI members, but also those individuals in the community. Additionally, I have a strong interest in youth empowerment and would like to support programs that nurture the next generation of leaders. Lastly, given my background, I'm eager to assist in any capacity with professional development initiatives, helping members build the skills and confidence that they need to both excel within the organization and in their broader careers.
Mahalo, National Vice President candidate Daniela. We'll see you back towards the end of our caucus for our closing remarks. Now we welcome our fifth and final National Vice President candidate, Morgan Tedder. We also welcome back the Elections Committee to ask the second question.
Hey, Morgan, your second question for the evening is why do you JC?
Thank you. This is my most favorite question. If anyone's been in this organization for a minute or been involved in membership recruitment, we always ask, what's your why? And I think it's important to note that why I JC today is much different than why I JC 10 years ago. I joined this organization because I was 21. I was excited. I was carrying around the North Carolina Nonprofit Act, determined to save the world with no direction on actually how to do that. Went to a convention, found like-minded individuals that also wanted to save the world, and they were figuring out how to make impacts in their local community. It's why I joined. This is why I JC'd, was to give back. Why I JC now has shifted. As I grew up and grew in this organization, I had mentors and advisors and individuals pour buckets into me. They invested into me. They gave me a chance. When some people wouldn't give me a chance, they gave me knowledge and they gave me guidance. With those buckets, they gave me so many buckets that I have so much more left to pour into other people. I think I JC now because of the humans that I've met along the way. You find your tribe, you find your people to invest in that still give back to you. You get to take care of one another. On top of all that, I still JC because I care. And it's cool to care, in case you didn't know. And we get to care about our communities. We get to care about the humans that are in the room more than the titles that they hold. And we get to care about the world around us, and we get to act on all of those things collectively.
Thank you, National Vice President candidate Morgan. We'll see you back towards the end as we conclude tonight's caucus. And thank you again to all the National Vice President candidates for their second round of question and answers. Now we move on to our two candidates for Deputy National President for the second round of questions. JCI USA, we welcome back your first Deputy National President candidate, Josh Hoovlin. And we also welcome back the Elections Committee to ask the second question.
Good evening, Josh. Your second question for tonight is, in every walk of life, there are people that you may have conflict with. How do you handle dealing with difficult people?
Thank you for the question. So this is a somewhat simplified version of it, but I think the very first thing you need to do is listen and remove all of your internal biases as much as you can walking into a conversation. This is something that I've had to deal with both in the professional setting as a people leader or a leader of people, as well as within the JCs too. Quick story about a conflict I had this year. There was some miscommunications, I'll say, during the last election last year, and I was assigned the great state of North Carolina and Morgan Tedder, who's on this call this evening, as one of my states. And there were some rumors that I didn't like North Carolina or something was going on. So it's really just walking into that first conversation directly, not being afraid to be uncomfortable. And that's something that we learn all the time as JCs and in projects that we run in different things. You have to be uncomfortable in order to grow. And the same goes for conflict resolution. You need to be uncomfortable and just say the thing that you're wanting to do, because I find 90% of the time that person or you sometimes doesn't have ill intent. It's the way things are perceived that are wrong. So I sat down with Morgan at our SPR and just attacked the issue head on. I was like, hey, listen, like, I don't know what was said, who said what, things like that. But, you know, I have no ill will towards North Carolina. And it's been a really great conversation since then and relationship that's developed, because now whenever Morgan has something, she feels no hesitation at all to shoot me a text at 11:30 p.m. on a weeknight and say, hey, got a sec, we need to catch up about something. And I find a lot of times when you do have those conflict resolutions and you're successful at resolving the conflict with that person, your relationship is all that much stronger for it. So I really, this is something I'm passionate about and something that I feel no conflict is not overcomable. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy National President candidate Josh. We'll see you back when we conclude tonight's caucus. We now welcome back your second and final Deputy National President candidate, Eric Hyatt. We also welcome back the Elections Committee to ask the second question.
Hi, Eric.
Hey.
Your question is, when looking at your current role, what would you do differently?
So that's a great question. So one of the great things about being in JCI USA is we're a learning organization, right? So, we could not be afraid to make mistakes and learn from every role that we're in. And, as a good leader, it's really important to really self-reflect, especially at the end of the year. So you're preparing the next person to really have the tools that they need to be successful. I think looking back at the last 8 months or so serving as membership development director, I would say, some of my travels this summer, I've been able to meet members and talk to chapters and really understand some of their needs, especially involving membership. And so I think what I would do differently in my current role is right at the start of the year, really getting chapters some sort of like membership in a box, right? Getting them the tools that they need to be successful. A lot of our chapters said they need basic things like a tablecloth, a sign, swag. Maybe it's like generic JCI USA swag. So as national officers visit our chapters and they notice a chapter doesn't have any swag, they can, pull out those, pizza cutters and water bottles to really help provide targeted membership support. So chapters can focus on programming instead of having to worry about recruiting the next 2 or 3 members at an event. And I think that's really important for us because, programming is what drives membership. When we focus on members only, how many ads we have, that really isn't as effective. We want to have targeted programming to make sure that our chapters have the tools to be successful. So definitely I would say, a targeted membership in a box. So chapters have the tools and resources that they could hit the ground running on day one. Thanks for the question.
Mahalo, Deputy National President candidate Eric. We'll see you back when we conclude tonight's caucus. And thank you again to all our Deputy National President candidates for their second round of questions. And finally, we move on to our candidate for National President for her second round of questions. So JCI USA, we welcome back your National President candidate, Bethany Miller. We also welcome back the Elections Committee to ask the second question.
Good evening, Bethany. Your second question for the evening is, what have you learned about membership recruitment from your prior roles within the organization to make you a stronger national president?
Thank you so much. Hey, Brittany. What have I learned from my previous roles about membership recruitment? So this question starts with day one of my membership in the organization. Plot twist, I'm from an under 20 chapter. My chapter was actually under 10 when I joined, and I didn't know. Through my time in the organization and traveling around to other chapters, listening to what members have to say, the way we're currently recruiting members is not working. We're recruiting members in a generation that want to have experiences by asking them to join Costco. At least that's what it feels like most of the time when you're at a membership event and you're like, are you going to become a member? And I love that for us, but we've got to change the way that we talk about ourselves as an organization. And we've got to change the way that we present the opportunities available from our organization. Instead of asking people over and over again to become a member, become a member, become a member, let's reframe it and ask them to take an opportunity. Here are the areas of focus that JCI has to offer. Here are things that we can do together to create an experience rather than and have an opportunity versus become a member and come to a meeting and then chair a project and fill out all this paperwork while you're doing a PMG. So I think that we revamp how we talk about the membership experience, how we talk about our organization, and we quit calling ourselves a young professionals organization or a volunteer organization when we're trying to recruit members. I think another thing that I've learned about membership recruitment is that we really have a retention problem, and that starts with our lack of onboarding consistently across the nation. So one of the things we're currently working on is a consistent onboarding program.
Mahalo, National President candidate Bethany. Well, JCI USA, we have come to the end of our virtual candidate caucus. But before we close and provide some announcements, let us bring back all our candidates as well as our 104th National President, Vanessa. So bringing on stage is National Vice President candidate JP, National Vice President candidate Ali, National Vice President candidate Chris, National Vice President candidate Daniela, National Vice President candidate Morgan, Deputy National President candidate Josh, Deputy National President candidate Eric, and National President candidate Bethany Miller. And we have our National President, Vanessa Birchler. So JCI USA, here are your candidates for National Vice President, Deputy National President, and National President. They will all be in person during our elections that will be held at the JCI USA National Convention in Cleveland, Ohio. So speaking about National Convention, I'm going to turn it over to our 104th National President, Vanessa, to give us more information on what you get to expect when we head to Cleveland in just about 2 weeks. So NP Vanessa, would you like to share some of things that's going to be happening at our National Convention?
Absolutely, IPP Nate. So thank you. All right. So starting off, 2 weeks when we will be together in Cleveland. So very excited for this and being with all of you and celebrating what a great year we've had in electing these fine individuals to office. So kicking things off here. So the wonderful folks of JCI Ohio are sharing this convention for us and hosting us. They have some wonderful excursions lined up, from a golf scramble to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, a Cleveland Guardians game on Sunday, wine tour, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the largest candy store in America. So those excursions, the sign up does end on August the 30th. So if you want to do them, make sure you get signed up. Go to the website and there's a spot there to put your name on the list, buy your tickets, all those good things. Thursday kicks off with our skills development and competitions program. You have until midnight Hawaii time tonight, which is 6 a.m. Central Time, to sign up for Speak Up and Debate. So if you've been on the fence about signing up, you do not have much more time. So get in there, get signed up, and we would love to have you participate in that program. We'll also have our Leadership Summit on Thursday afternoon, as well as our First Timers program, and of course, the Welcome Party. On Friday, we kick off with our state highlights during the morning show, our opening ceremonies, and our board of directors meeting. We'll also have development sessions, and also in the afternoon, we will have our national officer candidate caucus, much like tonight. That evening, we will have our candidate hospitality, where you get to meet all the wonderful candidates in person and talk to them more. But did you have a question for one of our MVP candidates that wasn't answered tonight? Well, you're going to be able to submit your questions to be asked to them during the candidate caucus. We're going to get a link posted in the comments on both the Facebook feed and the YouTube feed. So it'll be there, as well as we'll get it posted later this week. So get your questions submitted. The Elections Committee cannot wait to review them and ask our MVP candidates some wonderful questions during that caucus. On Saturday, we will start the morning with our state highlights and morning show again. Then it's off to the General Assembly, where we will vote on bylaw and policy changes, vote on the next strategic plan, and elect our 2025 officers. The afternoon includes our 10 Outstanding Young American Roundtable, where you all will be able to meet those wonderful individuals. We're also very fortunate to have several of our Toya honorees leading sessions on both Thursday and Friday as well this year. We will close out the day on Saturday night with our Toya Gala dinner and celebration. If you haven't seen, it's a sneaker ball, so make sure you're packing your best pair of sneakers. So there we are. There's a quick rundown of convention. We've heard from our wonderful 5 candidates for National Vice President, 2 for Deputy National President, and 1 for National President. Before we sign off tonight, please give all the candidates, our Elections Committee, and IPP Nate for big props for their participation tonight. They all did a wonderful job. And also thanks and huge props to Legal Counsel Cassie and MVP Marley for getting all the logistics of all this together and running the behind the scene techs. So that concludes the virtual candidate caucus for this evening or afternoon, depending on where you're at in the US. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and we will continue to evolve together. See you in Cleveland.